Going to start the lesson now, and I request in Qur'an to start the tajweed.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, I'm going to read it a few words at a time, and if you can repeat after me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا على عبدنا فأتوا بسورة من مثله ودعوا شهداءكم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين. فإن لم تفعلوا ولن تفعلوا فاتقوا نار التي وقودها الناس والحجارة أعدت للكافرين. وبشر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أن لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار كلما رزقوا منها من ثمرات رزقا قالوا هذا الذي رزقنا من قبل وأتوا به متشابها ولهم فيها أزواج مطهرة وهم فيها خالدون. الذين ينقضون عهد الله من بعد ميثاقه ويقطعون ما أمر الله به أن يوصل ويفسدون في الأرض أولئك هم الخاسرون. كيف تكفرون بالله وكنتم أمواتا فأحياكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم ثم إليه ترجعون. هو الذي خلقكم ما في الأرض جميعا ثم استوى إلى السماء فسواهن سبع سماوات وهو بكل شيء عليم. وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك نقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون وعلم آدم أسماء كلها ثم عرضهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين. قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. قال يا آدم أنبئهم بأسمائهم فلما أنبأهم بأسمائهم قال ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم غيب السماوات والأرض وأعلم ما تبدون وما كنتم تكتمون. وإذ قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس أبى واستكبر وكان من الكافرين. وقلنا يا آدم كن أنت وزوجك الجنة وكلا منها رغدا حيث شئتما ولا تقربا هذا الشجرة فتكونا من الظالمين فأزلهما الشيطان عنها فأخرجهما مما كان فيه وقلنا اهبطوا بعضكم لبعض عدو ولكم في الأرض مستقر ومتاع إلى حين فتلقى آدم من ربه كلمة فتاب عليه إنه هو التواب الرحيم قلنا اهبطوا منها جميعا فإما يأتينكم مني هدى فمن تبع هدايا فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون والذين كفروا وكذبوا بآياتنا أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون يا بني إسرائيل اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم وأوفوا بعهدي أوفي بعهدكم وإياي فارحبون. If you could open, first of all, does everybody have a tajweed book? Does everybody have one?
What page?
Page 10. Could you go to page 10, please? Okay, we're going to start today with the rule ikhfa. So if after nun sakin or tanween any of the following letters come, then a light sound will be made from the nose. The ikhfa letters are ta, tha, jim, da, zal, za, sin, shin, sad, dad, ta, dha, fa, qaf, kaf. The nun sakin has the letter ta after it, Can somebody read it? Any volunteers to read it? The example? إن تغفر لهم In this one it's tanween. Then the tanween has the letter kaf after it, which is one of the ikhfa letters. So you do it with this one alif nasal sound. Kiraman katibin. Okay, in the next page there's an activity. You have to find the ikhfa letters. Okay, so I'm going to go table by table, and you can tell me where it is and which letter it is. Okay. Brother, can you start? Tell in the activity.
Is Hamza Alf is an.
Oh, and what's the letter?
That is Alif.
No, the letter after the ikhfa. What's the ikhfa letter?
Uncle Mohiud,
Jim, the letter Jim.
No, where it's used though. The rule isn't used in both of them. The rule, no, which letter is using the rule?
See that is
Rule use nahi ho raha. Rule use nahi hai either rule use ho raha.
यहाँ क्यों नहीं हो रहा? Not very clear.
क्योंकि नून साकिन नहीं है.
Noon is talking.
There has to be a noon sakin.
So any letter that's after either noon sakin or the tanween is called the ikhfa letter. So in the first example where is in ja'akum, so it's the letter jim after noon, that's the ikhfa letter. And if you see on the left, then jim is one of the letters here. So it's about half the letters in alphabet that fall under ikhfa letters.
Okay. The next example, we have to do one alif nasal sound. So if ajakum,
It has to be nasal rather than pronouncing the whole noon. No, from the nose, nasal sound.
if
to the letter that depends on what's the next letter. Yeah, but that would be on the noon itself before you start G. Yeah, so that would what the letter next to.
Inwanu daniya. Can anybody tell me what the letter is and where it's used? Brother, could you? Do we have a raise of hands of who knows the letter and where it's used? Yes. Okay, the next one. Just on Nafsan Zakiya. Yes, correct. Khamsatu Satisuhum. بعد قوة ضعفا من حسنة فمن الله من قال تحمل كل أنشا عن ذكر الله من طلعها على الإنسان عذابا شديدا ظلا ظليلا فإن كان. Okay, if we could turn to the next page.
Uncle, is there a shortcut to memorize these letters, or do we just have to memorize?
It's better if you memorize, but For today, if you can just go through.
Okay, next is the rule of the word of Allah. If the word Allah has a fatha or dhamma on the letter before it, then it will be read with a full mouth, heavy mouth. If the word Allah has a kasra before it, on the letter before it, then it will be read with an empty mouth. There's a few examples. Full mouth. The first example, you have to read it because it has a fatha before, on the letter before it, you have to read it with a full mouth. Huwallahu. And the next one with the empty mouth, the first one in the empty mouth, it has a kasra before it, so you have to read the lam with an empty mouth. Bismillah.
Bismillah.
فلله الحمد
فلله الحمد.
قال الله.
So the exercise you can do in your own time, identifying few places where the word Allah is used. So for example, in this two examples, they haven't put in a Dhamma example there. So you can find a few Dhamma examples to put on the exercise underneath. So is everybody clear on the rule, where to make a heavy sound and where to make a light sound?
Full mouth and empty mouth. Yeah. The same Allah is spoken with a full mouth, and the second place is the sound is empty, not full mouth.
Is there any questions? No? Okay.
One thing I would request is every day make it a point to at least dedicate 10 minutes or 15 minutes throughout your day. Make a point. But today we are going to spend this 10-15 minutes going through the Qur'an and also
Copy slides.
two things together. Every day 10 to 15 and Saturday half an hour and Sunday morning half an hour. Make it on a calendar times. So that otherwise you'll be thinking, okay, I'll do it, and then something happens and you can't do it, and then it goes away from your mind. So, if you put that stop and then make it. Today's dua, inshallah. Can everybody read? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma inni zalamtu نفسي ظلما كثيرا ولا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت فاغفر لي مغفرة من عندك وارحمني إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. This is the dua for us to memorize for the next lesson before this lesson, and the meaning is, O Allah, I have done great injustice to myself, and none except you forgive sins. Please forgive me and be merciful to me. Surely you are the most forgiving, the most merciful. This is Imam Nawawi is mentioned from Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. And in Sahih Bukhari, there is hadith number is 796. And this is narrated by Abu Bakr Siddiq Radhiyallahu Ta'ala anhu. Abu Bakr Siddiq Radhiyallahu Ta'ala anhu asked Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, teach me an invocation, a dua, so that I may invoke Allah with it in my prayers. Then Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told him to say this dua. And Abu Bakr Siddiq used to recite this dua in tashahhud after sending salutation to Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. After saying, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma inni zalamtu nafsi zulman kathiran wa la yaghfiru dhunuba illa anta faghfir li maghfiratan min 'indika warhamni innaka antal ghafurur rahim. So this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves for people to ask for forgiveness. And I mentioned several times that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves people to come to Him to do tawbah. As I mentioned before as well, that one time Hassan Basri was sitting there within his conducting his class, and somebody came and asked him that I have lost my money, I'm short of money, could you please tell me about a dua so that I can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me money. Then he said, go and do astaghfar. And then the class was going on. Another person came and asked that, could you tell me a dua which I can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me children. He said, go and do astaghfar. After a little while, third person came and he said, our land is all drought, there is no water. Could you tell me a dua so that I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send rain so that my land is going to be fertilized? He said, go and do astaghfar. Anyway, the lesson finished. Afterwards, the children, when the question time came, they said, well, we are not going to ask any question about the lesson today, but we are going to ask about what you told these people. We were worried that such a big imam, and for each condition could be he may not remember what dua should be to tell the people. So for anybody coming, you just say astaghfar, astaghfar, astaghfar. Then he said, haven't you read Surah An-Nur? In Surah An-Nur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining to Nuh alayhi salam that when you have problem with finances, astaghfirullah, say astaghfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you need rain, say astaghfirullah. When you need children, say astaghfirullah. So of all these three things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that for these three things, repent to Allah, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept your dua and give you these things. So this is mentioned in. The second thing is, this is a very, very unique hadith. You know, if you look at books of hadith, lots of hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu ta'ala, Abdullah bin Umar radhiyallahu ta'ala, Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala, Abdullah bin Masud radhiyallahu ta'ala. But Umar bin Khattab radhiyallahu ta'ala, you can count on fingers. But Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala, it's very, very hard to find a hadith narrated by Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala. And this is one of the unique hadiths narrated in Sahih Bukhari by Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala. And Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala is very, very closest to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is one of the first person who accepted Islam. There are first 4 people who accepted Islam. In the women, the first woman accepted is Khadija radhiyallahu ta'ala. As soon as Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam came from the cave, when Jibreel salam hugged him and told him, and he told, and then as soon as she heard, she said, I give shahadat, you are the prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Women. In the men, Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala, the moment Rasulullah mentioned, he did the tashahhud. In children, Ali radhiyallahu ta'ala, and in slaves, Zayd bin Harisa radhiyallahu ta'ala. So these are the first 4 who accepted Islam. And Rasulullah said that whenever I told anybody about my prophethood and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some people have hesitation. Some people took hours, days, weeks and months to come back. Khadija was the only one who accepted straight away, and he said that Abu Bakr was the only one who had no hesitation for even 1 minute. The moment I said, he was actually as if he was already prepared to say, and he was just waiting for me to utter a word, and he said, yes, I accepted Islam. So Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala's position is very high, and this is what happened is, he asked for the dua, and as soon as Rasulullah mentioned this dua, he said, this is the dua, I want to keep it in my salah, and after the sending salutation to Rasulullah, and this was the habit he made by Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala, and most of us we do this dua after when in tashahhud. The other thing to mention is Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala's importance, because whenever I mention about any hadith, I usually say a few words about the person who has narrated. Like I told about Abu Ayyub Ansari radiallahu ta'ala, Hamza radiallahu ta'ala, Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, we know about Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu ta'ala, background, who he was. When you are listening to the narration, you want to find out who this person was. So Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala, as I mentioned, he was the first person in the men to accept Islam. He was closest to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that out of my companions, I have repaid anybody who had helped me and did something to me, except Abu Bakr. I could never repay what he has done to me, because he is the one who left his all families. He sacrificed everything for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the only one who was the companion with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for migration. When he made the hijrah, it was Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He was the one who, when Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was migrating, Rasulullah sallallahu asked, did you leave anything for your family? He said, no, I brought everything. His father was Abu Khahafa. He was a blind person. When he told that he is going to go with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, have you left anything for your family? You are leaving everybody to go with your companion. He said, yes, I have left. And he collected some stones and wrapped it in a bag, and he brought next to the father. He touched it and he thought this might be some metal, gold, silver, something valuable he is leaving, but he left these stones for the family, nothing. The second thing is when the Battle of Trenches, when Rasulullah was asking people to collect and things like to donate, Umar bin Khattab says that today I am going to beat Abu Bakr by donating more because I have got too much money today. So he said, Rasulullah asked him, what have you brought, Umar? Then he said, I have left half for my family, I have brought half for you, Rasulullah. And he was so happy. Then he saw the belonging which Abu Bakr Siddiq brought, it was very small. He said, today I am beating Abu Bakr because he won't be able to compete with me the amount I have got it here. When the turn of Abu Bakr Siddiq came, Rasulullah changed his question. He could have asked the same question, what have you brought? Instead of that, he asked Abu Bakr, what have you left in your house for your family? Abu Bakr Siddiq said, I left only Allah and His Prophet at my home. Nothing. I have brought everything what I had in my house. Even he gave all his clothes. He just had a small piece of cloth. He covered himself with that. He didn't even use the buttons or the things which holds it. He put thorns to tie it. And Rasulullah looked at him, and then he looked up. He said, Abu Bakr, I am seeing all the angels copying you, the way you dressed you, with the thorns attaching to the clothes. So that's what the position of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. So this is the dua. Please memorize this and use it in your salah. And when you recite this out of the salah, think of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, send salutation to our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give high rewards and position to Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who has made his whole life to support the Islamic movement and to love and be with our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the only person who was in the battle of Badr in the tent with our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the only person who was in the cave with our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam before migration. And he was the only person who is lying next to our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the grave. So it is the position of our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Make dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us, and at least copy 1/1,000,000th of what Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala did to the deen and this Islam. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. We'll have a break now till Maghrib Salah, 8 o'clock. And any questions to be asked? Jazakallah. what we are doing is not going too many ayah at a time. We are usually concentrating about 10 ayah at a time, so that it's easy for us to go word by word, to read the translation, and to concentrate on the meaning of this. And could be, this is, I have selected because it covers a topic, and it's easy to follow that way. And sometimes if we come across some ayah which are going to be like 5 ayah collecting the topic, then I might do 10 ayah and concentrate on the 2 topics. Today, inshallah, after the salah, we are going to go through the hadith and also the tafsir of the ayah we have recited, inshallah. And there are, I might have gone through the tafsir in the last session, but there are lots of people who, because of the holiday, they haven't turned up. So in a way, it will be a repetition, but I'm going to add some new points to this recitation, so that it's not just exactly copying what we did last time, but I want to add some more few points which were left behind last sitting. So inshallah we'll concentrate, and the whole idea is to think that this is like a family. Okay, we have family of blood relation. Think that this is a family which is connected with Al-Qur'an Al-Karim. So we are all family members with Al-Qur'an Al-Karim is the connecting factor. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في الكلام المجيد والفرقان الحميد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. This is the hadith. Yeah. Can everybody see this? Can you read it? And then the translation is there. This is narrated by Abdullah An-Nu'man bin Bashir, who said, I heard Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, the halal is clear and the haram is clear, and between them are matters unclear that are unknown to most people. Whoever is wary of these unclear matters has absolved his religion and honor, and whoever indulges in them has indulged in the haram. It is like a shepherd who herds his sheep too close to the preserved sanctuary, and they will eventually graze in it. Every king has a sanctuary, and the sanctuary of Allah is what He has made haram. There lies within the body a piece of flesh. If it is sound, the whole body is sound, and if it is corrupted, the whole body is corrupted. Verily, this piece is the heart. This is the hadith. Very, very important for us to remember. We have discussed in the past as well, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, there is an ayah, inshallah, we are going to read it again. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I have created the whole universe for you. The whole universe is created for us. We have to take the benefit from the whole of the universe. And as far as the haram and the halal, the allowed and the disallowed is concerned, I'm just concentrating on the food, the activities we do, the benefits we take from the world, and so on and so forth. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have selected, saying that, okay, out of all the food provided to you, only 5 foods are halal, the rest is haram, then it would have been very difficult for us just to have those 5 things, to eat from those 5 things. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is kind. He has done the opposite. He has limited only 5 things, and as haram or not allowed to eat, the rest of it is halal. In the world also, there are only certain places that have stopped, and the rest is all halal. Adam al-Islam's story is coming here. The whole of the Jannah was given to him, saying that the whole is for you. Do whatever you like, except don't go near one tree. If it was saying that to Adam al-Islam, okay, half of the Jannah is for you to utilize, half is you should not go near that half. It was difficult. But the whole of Jannah is given, except don't go near that tree. So it's exactly the same thing. The haram is limited, the halal is wide. And only few things are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selected, okay, don't do this, do this, don't this. But the shaitan says that, okay, this is all allowed, okay, but why not to pick up this thing and this thing and this thing? He is trying for us to choose from the only limited things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says not. So the halal is all clear and the haram is all clear. Everything has been explained to us. But in between there are some things which are doubtful. The best person is the one who tries to avoid the doubtful things. And the one who tries to go into the small things, saying that, okay, this will be allowed, this might be allowed, this might be allowed, then they are taking a risk of going towards the haram. And Imam Bukhari, he has selected this hadith in the chapter of Al-Bay, the chapter which involves trading. This is the most important for things to us to remember. That means the inclination is dealing with trading. What sort of trading is allowed and what sort of trading is not allowed. Deception is not allowed. Fairness. Do any trade with the fairness. No lies. No false promises. No deception. Nothing to have in your mind that I want to go out and make a deal, but in my mind I'm trying, when the time comes for fulfilling the deal, I'm trying to make some excuses. So these are the things which are not allowed. And in the food also, the food is for us now to eat everything except which is either doubtful or is haram. For us now, we select food from the supermarkets, and it is our job to look at ingredients. If the V sign is there, suitable for vegetarian, that is a good thing, because no animal fat or animal part is used in this one. Second thing to look in the ingredient, once you find the V sign, make sure that there is no inclusion of alcohol. Because alcohol doesn't come under vegetarian or non-vegetarian. Okay? So V sign is good for us. If there is no V sign, still look into the ingredients. Because some companies, they don't say vegetarian, suitable or vegetarian, but look into the ingredients. What are the ingredients? If they are all suitable for us, take it. If slightest doubt, leave that thing. That's what is mentioned. In doubtful things, leave it. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing so many things, you go into the supermarket, there are so many with V sign, why do you want to select something which is doubtful? So this is one thing for us to remember. And the next thing is about, in the hadith it says, the explanation it says about the food and the dealing and the clothes we wear. As far as the clothes we wear, there is no problem there, we don't have to. But one thing happened is, when I used to wear in a young age suit and ties, we used to get a tie and then I checked it, because it's better always to check, and it says portion of silk included in this tie. And for men, we are not allowed to wear silk, because silk is the dress of the heaven. So we want to have that option to utilize this benefit in the heaven, to wear silk garments. So when you see that silk is included in the tie, I said, no, I shouldn't wear. So when there is any doubt, try and avoid it. make sure that you're not going to go into this one. In this portion, there are two examples given. One is about king and his sanctuary. There is a limit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this limit that inside this thing, everything is allowed. After this boundary, the doubt is start, and after the doubt is haram. So the same thing is here. Don't go near the perimeter. I'll give an example. Some places there is military trying to do exercises. For what they do is they have a perimeter. They put a board. Military exercises going on. Don't come near this fence, because they are going to use some blowing objects and some instruments and bombs or targets or shooting, something like that. And the bullet can cross this area, but that is the limit. It won't go beyond this perimeter. So if you're traveling, you will realize that there is a notice, don't go near this perimeter. So you'll try to be away from this perimeter. You don't go to the perimeter saying that, well, the bullet won't be able to come to this area. They are just to be on the safe side, telling that it might come to this area, but it may not come. So you don't try to cross the perimeter. You don't want to take a risk. So this example is given that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this area is there, demarcated. Don't cross this area. Don't try to go outside this boundary or where there is a possibility. The second thing is mentioned about the heart. One time Rasulullah is sitting with the Sahaba, and there is a person called Wabisa, and he had a question to ask Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And every time he comes, then there is so much crowd. He was waiting to ask and ask and ask, and suddenly everything finishes and the Salah time comes, Azan is there, and Azan finished and the question answer time finishes. He came 2-3 times, he didn't have a chance. Then he made up his mind that I should try and ask the question today, it doesn't matter how long it takes. He came again, and then whole area was full up. Then instead of sitting, he stood in front at the edge where all the Sahaba were sitting. He didn't want to sit down so that he is going to miss, and he was waiting for a chance to cross in between the Sahaba to come to ask Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah dealing with all these points and discussion, and suddenly he saw Wabisa and he said, Wabisa, come near me. And the Sahaba turned and then they made way for him. So he started coming. He said, sit down in front of me. And he sat down. Then he said, would you like to ask the question, or would you like me to give the answer of the question you wanted to ask me? Then Wabisa said, oh please, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you give me the answer. He said, you came to ask me a question, what is a virtue and what is a sin, and how we can differentiate and find out. Did you have this question? He said, that is the question. He said, Wabisa, ask your heart. Ask your heart. That is your conscience. That is going to direct you what is virtuous and what is a sinful act. Because if you want to do anything, our conscience is the one which pricks you, saying that don't do this. And we try to ignore our conscience and try to do the things which are not allowed to do. If you ask your conscience, nobody is going to commit a sin. Because anybody who is committing the sin, he knows his conscience telling that this is not right. This is not right. But if we want to go ahead, we say, and the shaitan gives us so many excuses saying that, well, do the sin and do the tawbah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to forgive you. But your conscience says, don't do it, because we are not sure by the time you commit and by the time you make a tawbah, you might die. And this is one of the things. In another hadith it says that a person who commits a sin, a black dot is put on the heart of that person. And if he doesn't do tawbah, the dot remains. If he does tawbah, that dot is moved. But if he commits another sin without tawbah, second dot, and the third dot, and the fourth dot, and so on and so, at time, Rasulullah said, the whole heart is covered with black dots, and that completely stopped the conscious telling that person next time that this is a sin. So that ability is completely gone. He will commit a sin and the conscious will kept quiet. So won't say that. That's what they say. They say that your eyes, your ears, and your tongue and everything will be completely blocked. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to seal your heart. And no good things will be understood by you. That is a seal because you have ignored your heart completely. One thing with Imam Bukhari was, I forgot to say that Imam Bukhari's father, for 40 years he made sure that he brought only halal things in the house. The trading was halal, the food was halal, the clothes was halal. And he used to make the dua, and the dua is accepted by somebody who is dealing, listening to the conscious, listening to whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the limit, their dua is accepted. Because Rasulullah said that sometimes the people come with a dry hair, few clothes, and say, Oh Allah, Oh Allah, Oh Allah, accept my dua. But he said, what he eats is haram, what he wears is haram, and his activity is haram. How can Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the dua of a person who is involved in all sorts of these haram activities? So the acceptance of dua is because of so Imam Bukhari, he was raised in an atmosphere with the father who for 40 years brought only halal food in the house. The second example I'm going to give is Umar bin Khattab radhiyallahu ta'ala, when he was passing by a house and he heard the voice of two women talking to each other, and he stopped for a little while what they are doing. And he heard a voice for a young girl and the voice of an adult woman. And the adult woman was telling, no, milk some water in the milk before you sell this milk. The girl was telling, look, Umar bin Khattab has told us, he's the Khalif, saying that sell the milk pure as it is, don't add water. And the mother said, where is the one now? Is he seeing us, what we are doing? The daughter says, the young girl said, but Allah is there who is seeing us what we are doing. And then he stood there and he went away and he asked people, whose house is this? They said, somebody said that this is this. And he said, who is the young girl? Is she married? He said, no. Then he went to his son, Abdullah bin Umar, saying that I am ordering you to marry this girl. And Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala married that girl. And from there, third generation is born, Umar bin Abdul Aziz rahmatullah alayh. This is the fifth Khalif. And the mother said that I never fed the milk from my breast to Umar bin Abdul Aziz before making wudu. I never fed him without performing the wudu. And that is the beauty came to Umar bin Abdul Aziz, who was made the Khalif. When there was the Khalif was in charge of millions of the whole money of the people, and they were living in palaces in luxury. And he is the one who moved away from the palace, took the wife who was a princess of that time, took into a hut, a small place, saying that I don't want to touch the money. And the children were raised, and the children were only given whatever he used to earn with his hand, and whatever was allocated, the money from the pension or the money to give the Khalif of that time. Never touched the Baitul Mal. Each time is coming, the children were asking all his other relations who are in palaces, all wealthy royal families, and they were going to have nice new clothes on the Eid time, and they came and asked mother, our cousins, they are going to have this type of clothes, this type of clothes, this type of clothes in our Eid time. Can we have some new clothes? And she told Umar bin Abdul Aziz, Rahmatullah alayh, the cousins are going to have new clothes. Can we get some new clothes for our children for this Eid? And he calculated his income. He said, I cannot buy new clothes for my children. But he said, let me see. I will ask the person in charge of the finances, Baitul Mal, saying that, could you give me next month's salary before Ramadan? Then I can buy some new clothes. He wrote a letter to the finances person who was in charge of Baitul Mal. And he looked at, and then he wrote something on the back and sent it back to the Umar bin Abdul Aziz. And he opened the letter and he said, Oh Amir al-Mu'minin, if you give me guarantee that you are going to be alive next month, I'll give you the money. He gave them paper back to the wife saying that I can't borrow the money. So tell my children, just wash the clothes and wear those washed clothes this Eid. And the children told that after Umar bin Abdul Aziz passed away, and they were 10 years, 20 years after that, they say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us so much wealth. We used to wear new clothes every week. This was our gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the people, our cousins who used to wear and wear luxury, we saw with our own eyes they became very poor and came begging in front of us. This is very, very important, because I mentioned about Umar bin Abdul Aziz and Imam Bukhari that their parent took charge. So this is very, very important lesson for us to look after our children. Bring the food which is halal, earn through halal sources. Don't involve in deception, trades and things like that. So, time is coming for us to start the tafsir now. Last time I mentioned a couple of points, but I want to clear and bring some points again in the same book. See, this Surah Baqarah is an ultimatum to Bani Israel. Sometimes somebody is not listening to you or a bit sleepy or so. What you do is you tell them, and if they don't listen, you come near there, hold their shoulder and shake them. And this is Surah Al-Baqarah is doing to Bani Israel, shaking them. Wake up, what you are doing is wrong. This is the last prophet has come, the last message is there. I want to give you a brief background of what happened. And in Makkah there was only two types of people, Mu'minin and Mushrikeen, who accepted Islam and who didn't accept Islam. But when Rasulullah migrated to Medina, there were three groups: Mu'minin, Kafirin or Mushrikeen, and the third one is Munafiqeen. Munafiqeen is the one who say with their tongue we have become Muslim, and in their heart they are against Muslims. So this is the Munafiq. And how this nifaq came into existence, I gave a little bit of talking last time as well. I'm going to tell you again. What was the name of Medina before Rasulullah migrated? Yasrib. So Yasrib was the place. And the Bani Israel in Baitul Maqdis area, they were settled. And according to their book, the last prophet is going to come in Yasrib, the place with palm trees and dates. And they know which place was this. And they say, why are we staying here? The signs are coming of the coming of the last prophet. So if we stay here, how can he come? Because we know all the prophets come in Bani Israel. So the prophet is going to come in us. So let us go and move so that he is going to be born in our family. So they moved thinking that the last prophet is going to come from their family. But when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated, and he declared that he is the last prophet, and he came, and they realized this is the last prophet. He came, but he said, but he's not from Bani Israel, he's from Bani Ismail. They said that we cannot accept any prophet outside our family. So they rejected Rasulullah. The second thing why they rejected was because they were the scholars and leaders of the tribes. Banu Khariza, Banu Nazir, Banu Khainqa. There were 3 tribes who migrated, and Awas and Khazraj were the local inhabitants. They came along and settled down. Then if they had any questions or any point to be discussed, they used to come to the leaders, and this is the problem, can you guide us of this? And for answering the question, there was a fee to the scholar. The scholars, because they were not working like other people who had trades and so on and so forth. The scholars' the source of income was the donation given by the people who come to ask questions. So they realized, if we accepted Rasulullah as the last prophet, our superiority is gone. Who is going to come to us? Everybody has a question, he is going to ask to the Prophet. They said no. And they used to have these meetings saying that don't accept, because our superiority is going to go. So what we are going to do, in front, go and say we are Muslim, but in our heart we are not Muslim. That's what is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah all the time, saying that who are the munafiq. One thing I want to mention is nifaq, the hypocrisy, is 2 types. Aqidah and amal. The aqidah is belief, and amal is your activities, how you act upon. Nifaq, aqidah or belief is the one these people went through. Nifaq of activities and how we act upon is a different one. The first one is definitely going to hell. And not only hell, but the bottom part of the hell. But the second, whose nifaq is of amal, activities. There are hadith in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Rasulullah said that there are signs of munafiq. When he speaks lie. When he is trusted, he breaks his trust. And then when he is given an amana, he is going to destroy the amana and the trust which has given to him. And then when he fights, he starts completely out of his control. Not only small words, but swearing and shouting and trying to attack. So these are the signs of the munafiq. But this nifaq is nifaq of amal. So if a person says lie all the time, he has made it a point, it's a habit, saying lie. Some person might say lie once in a while and then say that, oh, I'm sorry, I said a lie. But that's not. But this person has made a point that I will only speak lie only, try to deceive people. When he is trusted, he breaks his trust. When he makes a promise, I want to do it, he will never fulfill his promise. So these are the criteria given. But this munafiq is munafiq amal. But the other munafiq is a munafiq of aqidah and belief. So the Surah Baqarah is talking about munafiq of aqidah. We have got the translation all done of the ayat we went through, and did we go through that?
So, because it was very long, it's not, I'm not telling you to memorize it.
Okay, it doesn't matter. We are flexible, so we try not to be hard on you. We take it easy, and this is your part to concentrate, because I think if you spend like 10-15 minutes every day, slot a time in your calendar, then it will become easy. And Saturday, half an hour, Sunday morning, half an hour, and inshallah you will find that that's going to help you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان. وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا على عبدنا فأتوا بسورة من مثله وادعوا شهداءكم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين. If you have doubt that this book Al-Quran Al-Karim is revealed to you, is not. This is ayah number 23, the one we started today. You can look into the books to ayah number 23. وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا. If you have doubt of what we have sent to you, then bring one surah. But in the whole Quran, this is in in Surah Yunus, ayah number 38, in Surah Hud, ayah number 13, and Surah Asra, ayah number 88. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked 3 times, if you are in doubt that this is not from Allah, then bring a book like this. Another place, 10 surahs. And in here, ayah number 23, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, bring one surah like what I have revealed. And you won't be able to bring. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself saying, وَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا فَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. Then fear the hellfire, where the hellfire will have humans and hijara. The Mufassirin said by hijara it means the stone statues you used to worship. So you will be thrown into the hellfire, and the statues you used to worship, those stones are going to be thrown with you. So that you can see that the one you used to worship, they are here in the hellfire. You were thinking they are gods and they are going to hell, now they are in the hellfire. At the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He is warning people and creating fear in the heart, at the same time He is giving comfort to the believers. This is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the whole Quran. Bashir and Nazir. Nazir is to warn, to create fear, and this Bashir is the one who gives you glad tidings and give comfort. This is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the whole Quran. Whenever He is giving warning to the non-believers, at the same time He is giving comfort to the believers. So it's a balance going on. At the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أَنَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ كُلَّمَا رُزِقُوا مِنْهَا مِنْ ثَمَرَةٍ رِزْقًا قَالُوا هَذَا الَّذِي رُزِقْنَا مِنْ قَبْلُ وَأُوتُوا بِهِ مُتَشَابِهًا وَلَهُمْ فِيهَا أَزْوَاجٌ مُطَهَّرَةٌ وَهُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who are believers, we have got iman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reward them. Glad tidings for them, they are going to be in palaces in the heaven with rivers flowing all around, and also they will be with their partners, their spouses at the same time. And the second thing is they are going to have fruits and food and everything, and when they eat the fruit, they say this is the same taste, a similar taste which we had there in the world. But shall I tell you the beauty of the heaven, the fruit of the heaven? You bite the fruit, you will have a taste every time. You have bite, second time different taste. The explanation in the Mufassirin has given that when you bite the fruit, 70 different tastes will be experienced by you. That is the beauty of the fruit of the heaven. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, and you will be telling that, oh, we had similar taste when we were on the earth, but this taste is not only similar, but we have 70 different tastes coming from the saved fruit. إن الله لا يستحي أن يضرب مثلا ما بعوضة فما فوقها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I am not going to be feeling little about giving the example of a small insect like a flea or a mosquito and something like that, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to explain the smallest thing and the biggest thing. What is the smallest thing on earth now? Atom. And we will say it is negligible. Atom, nothing. But when you break the atom, what happens? Atom bomb. Can you imagine atom bomb comes from what atom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you are thinking about mosquito and thing, go and do the people who have done biology, the insect, the mosquito. If you go into the details, your brain will be perplexed. The eyes of the mosquito, the wings, the way they have copied the mosquito to make these best planes in the world. The way the mosquito, can you imagine? And the wings, and the spike of the mosquito, you won't feel the bite because first of all it delivers an anesthesia to your skin, so it won't have the piercing effect of a needle. When we have injection, we feel the pain, but when a mosquito bites, it applies the anesthetic thing first, and he bites, and you don't even realize the mosquito has bitten you. So you are thinking about the smallest thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't worry, if you have brain and time, investigate what the mosquito is. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَيَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فَيَقُولُونَ مَاذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِهَذَا مَثَلًا يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَمَا يُضِلُّ بِهِ إِلَّا الْفَاسِقِينَ. Those who believe, they are going to accept, but those that don't believe, they are going to reject. So what is the harm? They are not going to cause any harm to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are causing harm to themselves. الذين ينقضون عهد الله من بعد ميثاقه ويقطعون ما أمر الله به أن يوصل ويفسدون في الأرض أولئك هم الخاسرون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they made a covenant with Musa alayhi salam, and the Bani Israel made a covenant that we are going to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are going to fulfill all the commitments we made. They broke all the commitments. They broke all the commitments. When Musa alayhi salam said that this is the place, when we cross this and meet the people, we fight them, the whole land will be ours. They said, no, that's Jabbarin, they are very powerful. Oh Musa, we are going to sit here, you and your Lord go and fight with them. You ask, you are powerful, your Allah is powerful, you both go and fight with them. We are going to sit here. This is what the reply was that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, okay, then what you have done is going to cause harm to yourself, and you will be the loser. Khasirun is a loser. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, كيف تكفرون بالله وكنتم أمواتا فأحياكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم ثم إليه ترجعون. How can you deny Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He brought life into you, and you see the death also coming to you. And last thing is that you are all going to come back to me. And how can you deny me? How can you ignore me? وَالَّذِي خَلَقَكُمْ لَكُمْ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا ثُمَّ اسْتَوَىٰ إِلَى السَّمَاءِ فَسَوَّاهُنَّ. This is the ayah I was going to say, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He's created everything for you. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He went all to the Samai فَسَوَّاهُنَّ سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ وَهُوَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. He's the one who created 7 heavens. Now from here comes the story of Adam alayhi salam. وَإِذْ قَالَ ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never answered angels because He doesn't have to have a mashwara or their opinion to do anything. He is almighty. He doesn't have to ask anybody. But He asked the angels that I am thinking of sending a deputy into the earth. Because he asked the question, the angels replied. The angels don't talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unless they are ordered and given permission to ask. I went to the Buckingham Palace. They were giving MBE to me. So before you go in front of the Queen, we are gathered in a hall. And the person explained to you saying that there are certain rules as long when you are in front of the Queen. You should try and look down, don't glare into her eyes. Don't speak. only when she talks to you and asks a question, then answer the only question she has asked. This is what they're selling in this one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is his position? The Malaika and the Anbiya and everybody will be standing in rows. In Surah An-Naba, if you look at the last paragraph of Surah An-Naba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they are all going to stand and nobody is going to talk to him unless he asks the question. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking the angels, saying that I am thinking of sending a Khalifa into the earth. That creation of Adam alayhi salam. Because they asked the question, they replied. What was the reply? Why are you going to send somebody on the earth? If you want the hamd and sana and obedience, we are here to fulfill all these. Why you are going to say? One thing last time I said that, how did the angels know that this person who is going to go, their family or their dependents are going to argue, fight, and there will be bloodshed? This is a thing of ghaib. And the angels, they have ilm ghaib. They don't know what's going to happen in the future. But the answer is here in the Mufassirin has said that before the Adam was created, or humanity was created, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the jinn. So now there are three types. One is the Malaika from the Nur, the jinn from the fire, and the human beings from the earth. So the jinn were before that, and they used to argue, fight, and cause bloodshed. So from that example, the angels replied saying that why do you want to create somebody and send when there has been another community you send and they have caused this. But if you really want obedience and praise, we are here to praise. Because they were giving a negative answer about Adam alayhi salam. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Jibreel alayhi salam to pick up the sand from various places, mix it up, and then Adam alayhi salam's body was there. It was form of wet area, clay, it was dried, and it was making a noise when you touched it. When that happened, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blow his ruh. وَنُفَقْتَتْ مِنْ رُوحِ فَسَوْا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. Then when he blew the ruh into Adam alayhi salam, then Adam alayhi salam sat down, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the angels, prostrate. Why was the prostration? Because they had negative feeling about Adam alayhi salam. He wanted to show that he is superior to you. To have this thing in their mind, showing superior to Adam alayhi salam, they perform the same. And then after that, another ayat is coming. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed so many things to angels and asked them, can you name these items? And the Mufassirin say these items were the things which the human beings are going to manufacture and create. It could be a car, it could be an aeroplane, it could be a machine, something like that. So everything was shown in front of the angel and said, can you name these things? What was the reply? قَالُوا سُبْحَانَكَ لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا إِلَّا مَا عَلَّمْتَنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَلِيمُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we cannot name them because we don't have the ilm and knowledge except the knowledge you are going to give us. Okay, you say you don't know? Come on, Adam, you tell the names. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the knowledge to Adam alayhi salam. He started telling, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is in front of our angels. So 2 points. One is to perform the sajda. The second thing to show superiority is that you don't know all these, Adam knows all these things. This is happening. This is what is explaining here. And this is also. When the sajda was performed, everybody did the sajda except Shaitan. As I mentioned last time, Shaitan and Iblis, 2 words are used to denote his quality. His real name is Azazil. This is given by Ibn Kathir in Al-Badaya wal-Nahya, that his name is Azazil. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned him with his 2 sifat. Iblis from labasa yalbisu, who has lost all hopes of being forgiven. And shaitan is from the root word shatanun, who was thrown out of the company. Because this is the holy book, Al-Quran Al-Kareem, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want to use the name of shaitan in this holy book. That's the reason he is mentioned with his two qualities. Otherwise, if his name Azazil was mentioned, he would be proud saying that my name is in the holy book. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used shaitan and Iblis for him. So what he did, because he was thrown out, then he was out of the periphery from throwing out, but he used to can see and talk to people of the inhabitants of the earth. And he used to see Adam alayhi salam. Adam alayhi salam was alone and waiting and waiting. He looks at the angels and all sorts of things. He was feeling lonely. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Bibi Hawa to be a partner with him. They both were together, and then Satan used to talk to them from over the fences. And he said, one time he said, "Oh Adam, I am your friend. And if you would like, I would like to give you an advice." I will just finish 5 minutes only. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Oh Adam, for you and your wife, the whole of the Jannah is free to do whatever you like, but don't go near one tree." That's the only restriction. And Adam Islam, maybe how I was walking around, and he said, "Okay, you wanted to say, give me some advice as a friend. What is that advice?" You kept quiet that time. He said, "Well, the thing is that I don't know how to mention it to you. You know that all the angels here who are roaming around freely, they all ate the fruit of that tree. And I was stupid. I didn't eat the fruit. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept all the angels into the boundary. Because I didn't eat, He has thrown me out. So as a friend who cares for you and your wife, my advice is to go and eat the fruit. Once you eat, you have permanent residence and you won't be thrown like me." So Bibi Hawa said, and then both went and then they ate the fruit. And what happens, the whole thing came, their body parts came, and they have to cover with the leaves and so on and so forth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, "Oh Adam, you made a mistake. So I have to move you from this place." Adam Islam apologized, accepted his mistake, and repented. And said, "Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin." This made the door. Accept Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are 2 lessons from it. There were 2 mistakes made. Shaitan made a mistake disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Adam al-Islam made a mistake eating the fruit of the tree which he was not supposed to go near. And what was the reply? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Oh Shaitan, why didn't you prostrate?" And he said, "Why should I prostrate? I am better than you. Ana khayru min." I'm created with a fire which goes up. You created the Adam with the sand which goes down. How can something going up will go down into something? He took his own point and argued with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Adam al-Islam made a mistake. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Oh Adam, you made a mistake." He said, "Yes, I am sorry I made a mistake." Accepting your mistake and repenting and making tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the sunnah, the habit, the shaitan, is not to accept a mistake, but standing on straight, saying that I am right. Adam al-Islam made a mistake. Once he was told it's a mistake, he said, "Absolutely." He could have argued, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who you are, Ali, Khabir, you know everything, and you can speak everything. When Shaitan was telling, you could have spoken to me, "Oh Adam, don't listen, he's lying." You did not say to me. So how can you expect me when he was saying, and he swear with your name? If you look in our Qur'an, Shaitan said, "Wallahi, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am telling you, if you eat." And he said, how can a person lie? Swearing and making an oath with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name.
He's a liar. Okay, why? But Islam never argued with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had points of argument. He said, no, you can't argue with Allah. If he says we made a mistake, so in our lifetime, remember this. Do you want to follow the sunnah of shaitan or follow the sunnah of Allah?